Hi, and welcome back to Soundtracks, the podcast where we share the personal connections we have with music and how these connections have shaped our emotions, our experiences, and our memories. Thank you for joining me today, and thank you for trusting me with your time. So this is a listener submission episode, and today I'm joined by Kay, who we just did the main episode on. So if you haven't listened to it, please go listen to it. It's a great episode. And if after Kay's episode and after this you're feeling inspired to share your own soundtracks and share the music that has shaped you, and just kind of reflect and tell us that story, please do. The link to the submission form is in the show notes. You can also just come and talk to me on Instagram at Soundtrack Podcast, and we can talk about your soundtracks there. So yeah, I'm willing to hear whatever it is that you're willing to share. So let's build this community. Let's share. And as with every video, like, subscribe, comment. Let me know that you're listening. Let me know that you're there. I'm not just here talking to Ken. It's only us talking to each other. And yeah, let's get into the listeners' submission. So the title of this one is A Song, Let the Waters Flow. And the song itself is Because of You by Clarkson. And it reads, I am someone who associates music with a special occasion and moment in my life. A song that has had a strong impact on my life and has somehow shaped me is Because of You by Clarkson. It was the first song I ever sang when I was 5 years old, a bold statement for someone of that age. Without realizing it, I sang the song in the same year my parents got divorced, and I can't exactly even remember how I came to know all the words or even the song, but it is easily the song that reminds me of how quickly I grew up and being a child of divorce. In a harsh way, the song reminds me of a part of my childhood I don't even remember. The part where my parents were married and we lived together as a happy family. The song speaks about a child of divorce and how cautious she is of the world around her. She finds it hard to trust anyone because she's witnessed trust being broken by the very people that are meant to model that exact act. She grows up to face similar problems as a result of unhealed childhood trauma. Funny enough, I fully agree that the songs that we listen manifest themselves because it somehow perfectly sums up who I am now. I'm pretty cautious and enjoy having structure in my life. I acknowledge every word in the song and understand how it applies to me in aspects of my life. Before moving abroad, I always played by the book because stepping out and being unpredictable wasn't aligned to me, much like the little girl in the song. Thankfully, I've grown in leaps and bounds and being able to dissociate myself from the song most of the time. I hardly listen to this song these days because it brings up feelings that I've overcome. But when I do listen, I always remember to be more forgiving with myself and the mistakes I have made along the way. While this song serves as a reminder of what I lost as a child and what could have been had my parents stayed together, I find a strong sort of comfort in this song. It feels like a safe space when I need a release because it reminds me of both my parents, regardless of the more negative emotions it evokes. I carry this song in my heart and acknowledge that it has contributed to making me the woman I am today.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. See, I love a good story that comes with a song because it just means and it just shows, this is proof that music has so much, like it has an impact on people's lives completely. Like she just said, like right there, it said right there, like the song manifested itself. That's crazy.
And how cautious she is and how
Yeah.
she... If we go into like the deep stuff, like, do you remember the first song you sang as a kid?
Yeah. Camouflage by Brandy.
Okay.
Okay, that song. I remember the first time I heard it was like in a car. We were just driving to my mom's workplace, and she was just playing a random song. And at that time, I had big feelings. Like I was a kid with very like, you know, with big feelings. But I just, like I said, I just didn't know how to talk about them much. But when that song would come up, it would be like, I'm a work in progress. I'm a seed grown into a flower. You know, I'm a storm that's rising. I always felt like I was also very chaotic. Like my mind was like always like all over the place. I felt alone. I felt like, you know, so young, like just feeling so low of yourself. And then that song comes up and I'm just like, what song is this, Mom? She's like, no. So then she burned me a CD, and then from that day on, I've just been listening to Brandy Camouflage, because I just felt like I was her and she was me, and she was talking to me, and she's telling me that you're strong, you're beautiful, it's okay, you're a work in progress, but you're gonna get there. And you're gonna be so great once you're there.
Yeah.
So I like that.
Yeah.
I like that a lot.
I think I kind of sat here and like I thought about, you know, the reason why we are who we are lots of the times is like an impact of the things that, you know, we are a sum of the things that happen to us and our reaction to those things and how we choose to deal or not deal with those things really make up who we are. And when the person says, you know, because of that my parents divorced at like 5, I can see why I am the way that I am. I am cautious. I like playing by the book. I like structure, because I'm sure at the time all that was very chaotic. And being able to, like, when you can finally control your own space and control your own things, you want and you need and you crave for structure.
That's right.
And it just had me like thinking about like the things in my life that have kind of, I know why I'm like that. I'm like, oh shit, that's why you're like that.
Yeah.
And I was talking to my friend recently about, I don't know if I've spoken about it here before, but like just the act of saying I'm sorry was very difficult for me to do. Just in general, as like being an older child, because you're an authority figure, you can never be wrong, therefore you don't apologize, which is a very shit thing to teach someone, I think. But I saw it from my parents. My parents were authority figures and they didn't never apologize for what they did if ever they hurt you, whatever. And so I really internalized that, so I didn't apologize to my sisters. And when I did something wrong to them, when I went to my relationship, I never apologized. I didn't know how to. I was very like, I'm sorry you feel that way kind of apology, which is a non-apology, if you've ever heard one. But being able to unlearn all those things and pinpointing why I am that way. Because I remember going home while I was in a relationship with Taku, and my dad did something to piss me off and he wouldn't apologize. And I was like, this is why I'm like this. You did this to me. Because now I'm with someone, I can't say I'm sorry because you can't say you're sorry to me.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm there the way that I am. And like kind of reflecting on our life and like being like, this is why I am who I am.
Yeah.
What am I going to do about it? Is something that I want to change? Do I like this about myself? Or is it something that like I like, you know, do I want to change or do I not want to change? Like that's basically, the ball is in your court. But it also takes lots of effort and lots of courage, which I really applaud the submitter for having to reflect on yourself and being like, I'm like this. This is why, and this is what I want to do about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I definitely want to change quite a lot of stuff about myself. It's not to say that because I hate these qualities or whatever. It's just because I feel like if anything is going to make me a better person, I feel like I should do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Definitely.
That. Being I spoke about it before, being a teachable,
Yeah.
movable person.